Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video we are going to create our first Firebase Cloud function. It's going to be an HTTP function because we want our function to be triggered by Trello webhooks. It works like this. You define the webhook for an element. For example, for this list, whenever something changes, like card creation, card update, and so on, a webhook is generated and it triggers an HTTP function that you specify. For example, this is how you create a webhook. We're not going to do it in this video, but we'll do it soon. Here you specify your HTTP endpoint, and the webhook will call our function in that way. So in this URL, you can see some useful information about webhooks, and here you can see an example post body. So here is what gets posted when a webhook is activated. So here you can see lots of information about the event. For example, here you can see the type of the event. This is a card vote event. We'll mostly deal with card creation, but you can see here everything. And I'm just going to copy this and save it locally. Here is my project directory. Let me create a trello.json file, and I did it because I want to be able to test my function with sample data. So let me close this. Here you see when you click on this functions tab, you see that there are no functions currently. When we create and deploy our first function, we'll come back here and see that there exists a new function. So let me open up Visual Studio Code. You can choose whatever you want. It doesn't matter actually. So here you can see already it provides you an example HTTP function. The name of the function is Hello World. Let's rename it to transaction, because ultimately this function will handle the webhook and create a budget transaction. This is the name, and this is the type of the function. As you see here, it's an HTTPS function, and it takes two arguments, a request object and a response object. So let's just debug this function, serve it locally, and see if we can get this result. So let me open up a new terminal, and first of all, of course, I have to deploy the function. No, I have to serve the function locally. You can do it like this. So Firebase serve only functions. So it shows an error. I guess I have to do it with sudo. Alright, so when you see this, the endpoint, it means the function is ready, and we can use this URL to make a post request using the curl tool from the terminal. So we can go curl x post and paste the URL. We can also pass some data. For example, ID is equal to 123. It's not required, but you can do it. And when I make the request, I can see the response. So let me show you something else. You can serve the functions with custom ports actually. For example, you can say port equals, the default port is 5000, as you can see, but you can go, and when you make your request, you have to change the port here as well. So as you see, it works, but if you don't change the port, for example this one, failed to connect. So let's modify our function a little bit. By the way, don't forget ever to return the status code from your HTTP functions. For example, we can set the status to 200. That's a success code. Also, let's add a console log to the server side and print the request body. Now, you don't have to serve the functions again if you just modify it, but if you create a new function, you have to serve it again. Since we just modified the function, we don't have to serve it again. I can just call the function with the correct port, of course, and I expect to see the ID equals 123 in here. So let's go. As you see, it prints hello from Firebase, and in the server side I can see my post body or request body. And the next thing is, so let me close this. The next thing is to deploy our functions. So Firebase deploy only functions. Alright, it's deployed now. So let's go back to our console and refresh this page. We should see our new function here. And the dashboard, here we go, a new HTTP function called transaction. And you can actually see detailed usage stats and other information when you click this button. Here you can see, you can edit, delete. For example, you can click and delete this function if you don't want to use it again. And you can see the source code. And we can actually, since it prints out a message, we can actually test the function from the browser. Paste and go. Oh, no, I copied the wrong thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I should be copying this one. This is the project console, and this is the function URL. So paste and go. Here you see it, hello from Firebase, this message. So this is it for today. In the next video, we are going to create our webhook and point this callback URL to our function URL. So see you in the next video. Take care.